All right, so today we're going to be doing Banlist predictions. I assume I'm going to be doing another one of these videos in like a month because we won't be getting a ban list until like January or maybe end of December, but I doubt it. So I just think it's fun to sort of talk about the format, mid-season, however you want to call it, and sort of pinpoint a couple issues that we maybe have that could be addressed on the winter ban list. So chime in with your thoughts and let me know if you agree or disagree with my placements. This is 100% not a wish list. It's just what I think is going to actually happen. So with that in mind, let's just jump right into it. And also like the video if you enjoy it, and also ding the bell so you are notified when I post. So, okay, to start things off, let's go for the unlimited section of the ban list. I still think Substitute has to be unlimited, and we also have Denglong on here. Like both of these, I don't really know why they're still limited per se. They are not seeing play regardless. So I think it's fine if they unlimit them or like slowly semi-limit then unlimit to just shrink down the ban list. And as much as they were issues in the past, I don't think that's going to happen again until something new comes out that maybe like breaks these cards again one more time around, and then they can get banned if they prove to be an issue. But I just think it's like fair to unlimit them. And yeah, with that, let's move on to the semi-limited portion, because you're soon gonna see that I don't think many things are going to change. People actually enjoy this format. There's not a lot of complaining. There's a couple issues that we're going to talk about that have to be addressed, but other than that, you can pretty much play whatever you want. You can just have a lot of fun with the decks that you genuinely enjoy and actually probably do well with them as well. So like, I don't know, I think we won't see a lot of changes. So as for the semi-limited portion, I just put Spellbook of Judgment on here because it's like they maybe want to semi-limit it before they unlimit it, because it's still limited. And again, I still don't understand what that is. And that's going to be the case with another one of these cards on the ban list, where I still am like just baffled by the fact that this card is still on the list. I totally understand it. Like on an unrelated note, I get that they just don't want to release some cards because they want to push other products. But on the other hand, it's just stupid that they don't get unlimited. So Spellbook of Judgment is probably not going to be a horrible thing in the format. It's not going to be in the format anyway. So like it can be semi-limited, I think. And let's see if there's anything else that has to be semi-limited on my little predictions, but I don't think there is actually. So let us move on to limited, and let's talk about some cards that can come back. I think Title can come back since we are getting, we're getting the Blaster reprint, but we got Blaster to 1 as well as Tempest to 1 a long while back, and now the only ones left are Title as well as Redux. And I think Title can come back, Redux probably as well, but like I just think at 1 we can still contain them if they prove to be, I don't know, this dangerous deck, which I don't think is gonna be the case. So I was talking about cards that sort of like, you know, baffle me why they are still on the list. Zodiac Barrage should not be banned. It just literally makes zero sense. Zodiac is not seeing play as long as Dryden is banned, as well as the Broad Bull. It does not make sense. If you want to have as like the smallest amount of cards on the ban list as possible, just slowly take cards off the list, because if they prove to be a problem, you can just deal with them later, just like it happened with Snow as well as Dryden, now that we're on the topic of Zodiac. So yes, Zodiac Barrage can be limited in my opinion, as well as Glow Up Bulb. So that would be it for the cards that can safely come back. And now we can actually talk about the format and what has to happen. So like I said at the beginning, I don't think a lot of things are going to change, and I actually don't think that some of the top decks like Rescue Ace, Unchained, also Tear Element are going to be hit. There's multiple different reasons. I think Tear is not getting hit, where you could argue for Agido and also Kelbeck to be banned, and I would not be opposed that. But Tear is not getting a consistently huge amount of tops as soon as people start to counter it. And there's also the RNG factor. As for Rescue Ace, they naturally want to push the Sinful Spoils cards, so they're not going to touch that. And also as for Sinful Spoils, like they want us to play it with Fire Kings, and there's this huge amount of products and decks coming in that are going to shift the meta. And sort of like, if you look at Sprite, for example, yes, Starter went to 2 and Elf got banned, but other than that, it just so slowly kind of fell off because other things are much more interesting and better. So power creep is definitely a factor. And as for Unchained, I think it's just like, it doesn't make sense. The deck is cheap regardless, and they just printed new support. If you want to hit anything, you're going to be hitting Shavara, which just came out, so that doesn't really make sense. And as for Tour Guide, you can play it with the new Goblin stuff, so they're not going to hit Tour Guide in my opinion. If they do, it's going to be later, once we get those Goblin cards. So I just don't think any hits are going to happen. However, we still have a couple cards to talk about. Number 1 is going to be Isolde. I think they're going to limit it. I don't think this is like the correct solution. It's just what I assume will happen based on what Konami has been doing in the past. It's like, okay, a card is really busted, like, I don't know, Hulky Fibrex was, let's limit it, and then later let's ban it. And I think it's going to be similar with Isolde because they don't want to necessarily hit it. Like, Infernoble can play the Sinful Spoil stuff. Again, they want to push their products. And if you limit it, I guess in their mind, you know, okay, the first one gets negated. They cannot make the second one to trigger the second effect if you, like, impermit on the first effect, if you know what I mean. So I think they might limit it. It's not going to do a lot, but I think they're going to be, like, content with the hit, if that makes sense. Another one is Prosperity. And I've been saying this and thinking of this for quite a while now. I genuinely think Prosperity would have to be hit, like, probably to 2 a couple months back, but now that they gave it a reprint and they don't really care about the value anymore, now they're gonna limit it probably. It's insane. It just gets you to everything, gets you to non-engine, to break boards going second, helps you going first if you're sort of struggling with engine, which is actually great if you play the card, but then, like, playing against it and just seeing all of the stuff that your opponent reveals is kind of a bummer. So I think they're gonna actually hit it this time around. And as for the last card on the limited portion, they might limit Sleepy Memory. This is the only one I'm a little unsure of because it's like, you know, I was saying that some of the top decks are not gonna be hit. Why hit Pearly? But it's been around for some time, and I just think that the draw factor of Sleepy Memory is a bit too much. Pearly, when you pass the turn, so on turn 3, Pearly is just going to have so much advantage that they're gonna overwhelm you 100,000%. They get their field spell, My Friend Pearly, as well as the draws with Sleepy Memory, and just making Noir so easily. I don't know. I think it's a problem, and if anything has to be addressed, it would probably have to be Sleepy, or like maybe one of the cats. Like, I could imagine Lily or something going to 1. That would actually be interesting, because there's not as many cats at your disposal anymore. Granted, you have the trap in the graveyard, but I don't think that's enough. So they might touch it, they might not, but yeah, I don't know. It's a prediction. Don't come at me. And as for the banned cards, one of them is Acid Golem. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's a really dumb lock. It's just very smart when it comes to the people that came up with it. Props to them, 100%. But it's just so stupid to have to deal with it. So they might just hit it because the card is literally not doing anything. It doesn't have a great effect. It doesn't really... It's just really degenerate. And you can also play Mikanko still as a separate deck. Like, you don't need to play it just to utilize it for the Acid Golem lock, because the deck itself is not actually bad when you look at it in a vacuum, like the actual cards, the archetype. You know, you have busted cards like Arabesque, you have just overall the sheer power of Mikanko going second, and just pairing it with Sinful Spoils, getting Ken and all of that, you can still do stuff. It just doesn't need to be like your end board, just doesn't need to be Acid Golem. So if they ban it, I think that would be a step in the right direction to make the game a little bit more healthy. And speaking of healthy or unhealthy, or however you want to think about it, I think the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity is going to be banned. Vanadium, Centurion, and there's other decks that can't do that. But those would be like the most notable ones probably. And it's just stupid. If you look at Centurion, they don't need to go for the lock. They can make like Cosmic Blazar, and overall the deck, at least in my opinion, has potential. There's a lot of space for non-engine, which makes it so that can be paired with another archetype maybe, or just a whole ton of non-engine, and then you can just go for your combo. And you can end on multiple things with the help of Crimson Dragon. So I don't think the lock has to be your ultimate goal. And if you look at Monodium, they actually kind of switched. And they are still hand looping with Omega, which is stupid and degenerate, but they're also just making end boards, you know, just solid end boards. So I don't think banning this card is going to make any deck unplayable. I think people can still play pretty much everything that they want. They're just not going to be locking people out of playing the game. So I think it would be kind of amazing to ban this card and actually like address issues as soon as they arise, because right now all of us are seeing these calamity combos with Centurion. So like by the time the ban list comes around, I think it would be past due to ban this card. So those are my thoughts. And yeah, share yours in the comments down below. We're going to be doing this in about a month, one more time, probably. So until then, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.